Have you ever honestly sat down and asked yourself how many of these massive, larger-than-life action heroes who blow up cars on the silver screen and take down entire armies single-handedly are actually that tough, resilient, and unbreakable in their real, everyday lives? Seriously, if you think you completely know Jason Statham just by watching his movies, as that cold-blooded, sharply dressed British bloke who remains perfectly calm in the middle of a catastrophic high-speed chase and always finds a miraculous way to escape, you are in for a massive reality check. Let me hit you with an incredibly controversial, mind-bending question right here at the very beginning that might genuinely shatter your entire perspective forever. What if I told you that this ultimate Hollywood icon of raw masculine power, chiseled steel muscles, and utter invincibility has actually stared complete ruin directly in the face multiple times? What if you found out that his actual life has been a chaotic minefield of dangerous, dirty risks, illegal street hustling, and borderline criminal decisions that could have easily landed him behind bars for decades? Would you still look at him with the exact same admiration? Hollywood is a master at constructing a flawlessly polished, blindingly beautiful storefront for us to consume, presenting an irresistible image of superstars who look like they were tailor-made for fame from the exact moment they drew their first breath. But today, I want to grab you by the hand and drag you behind that glittering velvet curtain, taking you deep into a backstage world that is infinitely darker, more terrifyingly complex, and far more raw than anything you will ever witness in a movie theater. I give you my absolute word that the shocking secrets and hidden struggles you are about to hear throughout the rest of this video are light years away from that pristine, untouchable image you hold of this action legend. So, do not even think about clicking away, and make sure you stay with me until the very final second of this video. If you close this tab or walk away right now, you will miss out on one of the most bizarre, thrilling, and jaw-dropping stories of raw survival in the cutthroat history of modern cinema. To understand the enigma of Jason Statham, we have to completely erase the image of the multi-million-dollar superstar we see today. This man did not launch his career from a cushioned seat in an elite, upper-class acting school, nor did he gracefully glide onto the scene atop glamorous red carpets. No, Jason was a pure product of the concrete jungle, a kid from the harsh, unforgiving streets where survival meant keeping your eyes wide open every single millisecond, because the moment you blinked, someone would steal the shirt off your back. His youth unfolded in the gritty underbelly of London, but definitely not the picturesque, romanticized London you see on travel postcards. He grew up in the shadow of black markets, unlicensed street vendors, and underground hustlers. For years and years, Jason worked directly alongside his father in these shady, chaotic street markets, masterfully hawking counterfeit perfumes, cheap costume jewelry, and literally anything else they could slickly convince people to buy. This was a world run on pure manipulation, charm, and street psychology. He learned exactly how to read a person's face in a split second, how to use fast-talking silver-tongued rhetoric to exploit their desires, and how to close a deal before they even realized what was happening. This precise survival skill was something he practiced every day, completely unaware that decades later, this exact street hustling mentality would become his golden ticket into Hollywood. But his early life wasn't just about selling fake goods on rainy London street corners. Jason was also a fiercely competitive, world-class athlete. He was a high-level diver for the British national team, a grueling discipline that required him to push his physical body to the absolute limits of human endurance. For 12 long, exhausting years, he poured his blood, sweat, and tears into the sport, desperately chasing the ultimate dream of competing in the Olympic Games. Yet, time after time, heartbreaking streaks of bad luck, microscopic point deficits, and bureaucratic sports politics shattered his dreams, leaving him watching from the sidelines as his life's ambition evaporated into thin air. Just pause for a moment and put yourself in his shoes. Imagine spending several hours every single day for over a decade slamming your body into freezing cool water, maintaining a brutal athletic regimen, only to walk away completely empty-handed with nothing to show for it. Imagine the crushing psychological weight of having to return right back to those cold, dark streets to yell and hustle fake watches just to put food on the table. This was the first massive, devastating blow that life dealt him, a trauma so deep it would have completely paralyzed, broken, and institutionalized any ordinary human being with despair. However, the true magic of Statham's life story is that his ultimate breakthroughs always sprouted from the ashes of his deepest, most hopeless failures. Just when it seemed like he was destined to be a forgotten street merchant forever, fate intervened in the form of Guy Ritchie, an iconic, visionary British director who was desperately searching for an authentic character to star in his gritty masterpiece, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Ritchie didn't want a soft, pampered, method actor who had spent their life studying Shakespeare. He wanted a real human being who smelled of the streets, someone who actually knew what a switchblade looked like, and someone who could convincingly play a criminal because they lived among them. When Ritchie discovered that Jason was a legitimate, real-life street hustler selling bootleg goods, he challenged him during the audition to pull off a live hustle. He told Jason to look him in the eye and aggressively sell him a piece of completely worthless, fake jewelry. Jason didn't hesitate for a single fraction of a second. He stepped up, locked eyes with the director, and unleashed a torrent of such terrifyingly confident, smooth street chicanery that Guy Ritchie was left utterly mesmerized, frozen in his seat. To make things even more legendary, once the audition was over and Jason successfully took Ritchie's cash, he flat out refused to give the money back. He argued that a true hustler would never return a payment once a deal was done. That raw, unscripted moment was the birth of a cinematic legend. But do you honestly believe that Hollywood just rolls out the red carpet and welcomingly embraces a rough, unpolished street vendor without trying to tear him apart? Absolutely not. The real psychological torture was only just beginning. The moment he stepped into the American film industry, Hollywood slapped a heavy, restrictive label on him. He was to be the eternal, tough guy, the unbreakable, unfeeling weapon of destruction. This fabricated image quickly transformed into a suffocating, inescapable iron cage wrapped tightly around his identity. He was stripped of the right to look weak, he was forbidden from showing signs of aging, and he was never allowed to make a mistake. He found himself trapped in a highly dangerous game where he felt immense pressure to perform his own death-defying stunts just to maintain that prized aura of street authenticity. During the filming of The Expendables, this obsession with realism almost cost him his life. He was operating a massive, heavy-duty flatbed truck when the brakes catastrophically failed on set. The unstoppable vehicle careened off the edge of a dock, plunging straight down into the freezing, pitch-black depths of the Black Sea. He was trapped inside the sinking cab, weighed down by heavy boots and tactical gear, sinking rapidly into an underwater abyss. If it weren't for the elite, instinctive swimming and diving skills he had mastered during his agonizing years as a failed athlete, he would have drowned right then and there. Yet, when you look back at the media coverage of that event, how much did the press actually focus on the terrifying trauma of that near-death experience? Barely a peep. To the soulless executives of the industry, he wasn't a human being who almost died, he was just an expensive commodity, a box office machine whose only value was generating millions of dollars in ticket sales. Carrying the immense, exhausting burden of this hyper-masculine persona took an incredibly heavy, hidden toll on his mental health and his private life. When your entire career depends on you playing a cold, emotionless, stone-faced killer, society, the media, and even the people closest to you begin to expect you to be just as unyielding, unfeeling, and robotic in your real life. The predatory paparazzi, toxic tabloids, and relentless media vultures swarmed his personal life, constantly fabricating explosive rumors and looking for any crack in his armor. Trying to build a stable, loving family with a high-profile global supermodel like Rosie Huntington-Whiteley while navigating the toxic, manipulative swamp of Hollywood gossip was an absolute, non-stop war. He frequently found himself physically confronting aggressive photographers who crossed the line to protect his family's privacy, actions that the media instantly twisted to reinforce the narrative that he was just a violent, short-tempered thug in real life. Hollywood is a meat grinder. If you aren't incredibly careful and fiercely protective of your soul, it will chew up your genuine identity, spit out your morals, and turn you into a hollow, brainwashed puppet designed solely to generate corporate profit. Jason Statham fought tooth and nail against this soul-crushing system for decades just to keep his humanity alive. He repeatedly turned down multi-million-dollar contracts for massive franchise films because he felt the scripts compromised his personal integrity or insulted his intelligence. These bold, defiant rejections caused severe anger behind closed doors among powerful studio executives, leading to quiet, covert blacklisting periods where he was intentionally frozen out of major mainstream projects. But he steadfastly refused to compromise. The unyielding street pride and fierce independence he cultivated while dodging police as a street vendor in London remained fully intact inside the billionaire boardrooms of Los Angeles. By the way, let's take a quick breather here. How deeply shocked are you right now by these hidden truths? Did you ever suspect that beneath those immaculate, custom-tailored suits and that arrogant, confident smirk lay a past so fractured by failure and haunted by the constant threat of survival? The vast world of cinema is completely overflowing with these incredible, untold human stories, and right here on this channel, we make it our absolute mission every single week to dig deep into the darkest, most compelling celebrity archives to uncover the raw truths that Hollywood desperately tries to bury. If you've made it this far with me and you're loving this intimate, deeply honest journey, do me a huge favor right now. Smash that subscribe button, follow this page immediately, and turn on that notification bell. Your incredible support is the exact fuel that keeps us going, allowing us to boldly expose the hidden puppet masters running the entertainment world. Now, let's dive right back into the heart of this gripping saga. One of the absolute biggest, most explosive controversies of Statham's career detonated when he chose to openly and ruthlessly criticize the modern wave of superhero cinema, specifically taking direct shots at massive juggernauts like Marvel and DC. During an era where literally every single actor in Hollywood was begging, crying, and firing their agents just to land a 5-second cameo in a superhero movie, Jason stood tall and publicly declared that these mega-budget comic book movies possessed absolutely zero artistic value. He famously sneered that even his own grandmother could put on a tight costume, stand entirely still in front of a green screen, and let a team of computer animators generate a fake action sequence worth millions of dollars. This brutal, unvarnished critique hit the industry like a nuclear bomb, sending massive shockwaves through the Hollywood establishment and igniting a furious firestorm of public retaliation against him. Prominent directors, wealthy producers, and massive A-list actors immediately banded together to publicly bash him, calling him arrogant, outdated, bitter, and irrelevant. But Statham stood his ground completely unbothered, because he believed down to his very bones in the sacred, old-school tradition of cinema. A style of filmmaking where every single punch, every broken bone, every drop of sweat, and every brush with death was real, physical, and earned through blood, not manufactured by a geek behind a computer keyboard. This fierce, uncompromising loyalty to his artistic principles cost him dearly, resulting in the immediate cancellation of several massive blockbuster deals, but he proudly chose to remain a gritty, authentic, old-school action star rather than selling his soul to the digitizing machine of modern cinema. The sheer longevity and physical endurance of Statham in the brutal world of action cinema is nothing short of a medical miracle. Most action stars who reach his age have long since retired to comfortable, easy roles, or are suffering from chronic injuries that make it difficult to even run across a room. Yet, Jason continues to defy the laws of aging through an extraordinarily disciplined lifestyle consisting of near-military fitness training, hyper-strict nutritional diets, and an absolute rejection of the toxic, self-destructive party lifestyle that consumes so many of his peers. He serves as a powerful, living blueprint showing us that building a powerful legacy and protecting your personal brand requires an ironclad, unbreakable will. The chaotic, triumphant life of Jason Statham isn't the story of a perfect, flawless hero. It is the gritty chronicle of a survivor who learned exactly how to run with the wolves of Hollywood without letting them devour his soul. He is a man who successfully transformed himself from a penniless street hustler into one of the highest paid, most recognizable global icons on earth, all while completely refusing to let a multi-billion-dollar system dictate who he should be. Through all his dangerous risks, public controversies, and human mistakes, he remains profoundly, beautifully real, a flesh and blood human being rather than a hollow, two-dimensional character projected onto a screen. Now that we have finally reached the very end of this incredible journey together, I want to hear your honest thoughts. Do you believe Jason Statham is a truly authentic, self-made cinematic legend who earned every bit of his success through sheer willpower, or do you think he was just incredibly lucky to be standing in the right place at the right time when fate called? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below because I read every single one of them. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this long, wild ride. Make absolutely sure you follow the page, and until our very next video and our next massive celebrity expose, take care of yourself.